Hi there, Tim Bauer here from LiveVideoGuitarLessons.com with a practice tip of the day. This was for the beginning player, and today I want to talk about two things. I want to talk about pick direction and using the proper fingers when you're playing passages of individual notes. Let's talk about pick direction first. The idea behind playing guitar is you're supposed to limit motion as much as possible. So you want to pick efficiently. So most of the time when people first get started, they want to pick everything down all the time, and that's just not very efficient. We'll just take we'll do 3 notes here. So we'll do this. All right. So if I pick everything down, we'll just do the math here real quick. I move the pick down once. You get 1 note for moving the pick once, but then when I move it to, if the next one is a downstroke, I have to move the pick up, and I don't get a note out of that. So that's 2. And I've only gotten 1 note. Now I get the next note, and now I'm hitting down again. So that's 3 for 2 notes. And then if I hit the next one down 2, also I have to move the pick upward again and not get any note out of it. So, and then I get my 3rd note there. So I've moved the pick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times to get 3 notes. That's just not very efficient. And obviously when you're first starting, you're playing simple things, so it's not like you have to maximize your efficiency. You should maximize your efficiency, but you don't have to maximize it to play the passage. I'm just saying that you should, because when you have to play something fast, you're going to have that efficiency. Otherwise, you won't be able to play it at all. It's the speed will be the speed will keep you from being able to play it. So the proper way to do that, you alternate your pick direction. So I hit 1 note down, hit the next note up, next note down. So I've moved the pick 3 times to get 3 notes. That's a lot more efficient than moving the pick 5 times to get 3 notes. So anyway, keep that in mind. And it's not always, the pick direction is determined by 2 things. If you're on the same string, you're just alternating your pick direction. And for the most part, you're alternating the picking all the time. But it's also determined by where you're going next. And you know, like if you're working on multiple strings, if the string you're going to, say you need to hit a note, say I need to hit this note, and the string I'm going to next is like, I don't know, let's say here. So I would move this one down, and if I wanted to hit this one, and the note afterward is going to be back up higher again, then I'd pick that higher note up. So say I was going to do this, I would pick this one down, because my pick needs to move down toward the 2nd string where I'm going to hit next. And when I do hit the 2nd string, I want to pick that one up, because the 3rd note I hit, I want it back here on the 4th string. So I'm doing down, up, down. So you get, and the idea is you kind of get the it's almost like a strumming motion, but I mean you're not wasting any energy moving the pick when you don't have to. All right. The other thing is you want to use the proper fingers. All right. So the rule of thumb is when you're say I'm playing a passage over here. If I'm going to skip a fret, I'm going to skip a finger. So basically, your fingers are assigned frets, and you're not going to get a lot of stuff where you have this and then this and that and that and that. But just for purposes of demonstration here. So if I'm playing the 3rd fret here, and my next note is in the next fret up, I use the next finger up. If I'm playing in the 3rd fret and my next note is 2 frets up, or I'm going to skip a fret, I'm going to skip a finger. Or if my next note is, I'm going to skip 2 frets to get to the next note, then I'm going to skip 2 fingers. Now sometimes you have to skip more. I mean, it's not always a 100% perfect system. I mean, sometimes you might have to stretch 3 frets and you don't have that many fingers. So but anyway, so for the most part, you want to use the right finger. So if I'm playing something like this, I'm not using this fret here, so I'm not going to use this finger. Or I might go over here and like say I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to play this pattern. I'm not using this fret, so I don't use that finger. Or say I'm just going to do the 2 notes per string instead of 3. So So anyway, just kind of keep that in mind. You don't want to develop a bad habit of picking everything down, because you know a lot of times people want to do this, you know, and obviously that's not very you know, efficient, you know, to play guitar that way. So just even though you're working on stuff that's you know, slow in tempo, you know, kind of beginner type stuff, which is what you should be working on. You're just getting started. This is a beginner tip. Just kind of keep that in mind, and make sure you get used to doing the alternating picking and using the right fingers. That way you won't have to undo your bad habits later, and you know, and adopt the correct habits after you know have already kind of ingrained the bad habits in your head. So anyway, hopefully that tip helps. Just kind of keep that in mind. Thanks for tuning in for this practice tip. Tune in again tomorrow for another one, and I will see you then. Thanks.